Joining me now, live from Cairo. Haven't had him on in a while. Last time we heard from him, he had just gotten robbed. He was in a fight, and now he's recovered. Eddie Yeranian. Eddie, great to have you, man.
Thank you, John. Good to hear your voice, too.
So how have you been? Just give us an update since everything happened to you.
Personally, just fine. Of course, this virus situation is a bit vexatious, especially if you see it as something that various parties are using for political gain. I obviously can't prove that, but many people have suspicions to that effect, and it would seem that certain countries are trying to use it to gain advantage on the ground here in the Middle East as well.
So, listen, I want to get your take on another bold move the president made that we have been calling for 3 years. And that is he wiped out the entire leadership of the international VOA, right, Edward? The Voice of America. Yeah. He wiped them out. Now, I've been complaining about this, and so have you, for 3.5 years, that Trump had allowed Obama holdovers to stay, and around the globe on Voice of America, whether it be in Asia or Europe, on a daily basis, all they did was trash Trump, trash his agenda, trash America first, and it became just a liberal raghold. And he put somebody else in there, conservative from TV, who wiped out the entire leadership. Can you give us an update on that, Edward?
Well, I think he's making appointments right now to get the operation going again. Unfortunately, VOA is not the only news outlet that has been putting out information that is, I don't want to say it was misinformation. I think it was information, but certainly with a definite slant, political slant. And the person who was in charge was, as you said, an Obama holdover who came from the Washington Post. Her husband was a former owner of the Washington Post, and clearly she was an Obama supporter. I think everyone knew that. I'm not sure why he didn't clean house earlier. Probably it was not one of his top priorities. But, you know, in order to have a vibrant democracy, you have to have news outlets that tell the truth and put out informations and facts, not narratives. I'm constantly seeing people telling me about narratives. I don't want a narrative. I want facts and information. And you can't have a democracy when people are putting out misinformation, misleading information. And VOA is only the tip of the iceberg. I mean, look at all the other outlets that are putting out misinformation. Really, that is detrimental to our democracy.
We have been railing, you and I have been railing independently against Voice of America director Eddie Yeranian, Amanda Bennett for some time. Also, Deputy Director Sandy Segarra. They both resigned on a week ago Monday after the president put in Michael Pack, who took leadership of the agency that oversees VOA and the U.S. Agency for Global Media. Now, Pack is a conservative documentary filmmaker nominated by the president, and he was confirmed by the Senate earlier this month. Now, this is what we have been calling for ages, because the purpose of the Voice of America is to spread Americanism, right? Not to spread anti-Trump nonsense and anti-America first stuff, and they had turned it into a propaganda machine. Now, those that are attacking this, Edward, are saying, well, the Trump administration wants to gain control of the Free Europe Airways. This is all publicly funded. No, they want an honest message, Edward. And you and I both know, coming out of Amanda Bennett and Sandy Segarra, that was not happening.
Not happening. No, not happening. I really try to stay out of those things, political behind the scenes maneuvering. But yes, you're right. That was my observation. That was your observation, and that was the president's observation. So let's hope they get their act together. That the new chap, whom I don't know, will run a tight ship and will be telling us lots of facts and information and giving us a good picture of America rather than a negative one.
This is a bold move because we have been calling on the president to name a conservative that understands media as head of this agency for 3 years. I thought it was one of the first moves he should have made. The fact that Amanda Bennett, who is an avowed hater of Trump, was running around in there. Anybody in Europe, Edward, that I talked to that heard VOA was telling, I had so many people telling me that the Voice of America had basically turned into an anti-Trump European propaganda machine. And so that's not the purpose of it. This is taxpayer funded. I mean, this is supposed to be about forwarding the cause of American ideals, right? Which are free enterprise, freedom, liberty, not some kind of an anti-Trump taxpayer funded cesspool, which, Edward, is what it turned into, right?
Yes, well, I mean, there are always people who are doing what the mission in there who are doing what the mission says they should be doing. So clearly, it's difficult to clean house and do it without hurting a few people that probably were doing what they should have been doing. But at the same time, as you said, the message they were putting out loudly and clearly was an anti-Trump message, and it was a message that was not serving the policies of the president. It was not serving the best interests of the United States, and it had a political agenda behind it.
Middle East reaction to the riots, the protests, what is going on in America, taking over portions of cities, knocking down statues. What has been the reaction in the Middle East, both people that you talk to and in the Middle East media?
It's been getting a lot of play in the Middle East media, that's for sure. The video is all over the place. It actually makes the top of the hour news stories on most of the Arab networks. Everybody has been talking about it. I don't think it's something that surprises people because a lot of countries out here have had similar problems. Here in Egypt, of course, we had the period when the Muslim Brotherhood came to power, and we had riots in the street, people throwing stones, people toppling statues, people toppling governments, and that happened in most every Arab country. I mean, you could ask who was behind it, and perhaps some of the same people were behind what happened in the Middle East as are behind what's happening in the U.S. right now. I wouldn't be surprised, without going too far out on a limb. But anyway, clearly, it's something that captivates people's attention. It gets them talking, and a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are saying that the U.S. is affronting some of the same difficulties and political forces that they confronted. And I think a lot of people are saying it looks like a bit of a civil war. I don't know if I would go quite that far, but certainly a lot of people have been saying that.
The overall reaction has been in the Middle East, people looking at this. Obviously, you've gone through many countries in the Middle East. They went through the Arab Spring. They went through these protests. Do they see these? Do they view these, Edward, as fermenting change?
I think a lot of people that watch the media, the mainstream media, have a negative opinion on President Trump, and they think these protests are going to dislodge him. And if I knew nothing about the situation, I might think that myself. But of course, if you really know what's going on, who's pulling the strings, what's going on behind the scenes, you would have a different point of view. But the average person in the street thinks that it's sort of a battle between those who support President Trump and those who don't. Of course, there are people out here in the Middle East who do support the U.S. president. So it's not a clear-cut show.
Edward, I want to thank you. It's good to have you back, man. Thank you for that update. Edward, Yeranian Live, Cairo, our man in the Middle East. Great to have him back. Great that you're healthy. Now, are you coming to the States this summer?
Well, the airport here in Cairo is not open, John. I don't know if I would have to be quarantined for any period of time. And at this point, the thing I'm looking forward to most is reopening the pool here at the club in Cairo and getting to go back and do my laps again after a 2.5 month or 3 month hiatus.
Sounds like you're going to be stuck there a while. Not coming back to the
I
States.
I don't think so. Nothing. There aren't a lot of things running right now.
Not in 2020. Edward Yeranian, thanks for being with us.